You know that feeling when you talk to yourself? Just muttering under your breath, maybe practicing a tough conversation you need to have later. Well, I started doing that a few months ago, but with my phone. Instead of just thinking it, I'd record a voicemail for someone, my mom, my best friend, even my boss once. I'd pour everything out, all the things I was too scared or awkward to say to their face. And then I'd just save it. I never hit send. It was like a diary, but more immediate, more real. It felt good, like I was getting it all out without any of the consequences. It started small. A quick message from my sister, complaining about her borrowing my favorite sweater again. Hey, you better wash that thing before you bring it back this time. Simple stuff. Then it got deeper. A message from my ex, months after we broke up. I told him how much he hurt me, how I was still picking up the pieces. I cried during that one. It was raw, honest, and for my ears only. I'd listen back sometimes, just to process it all. The app would show them as saved, not sent. A neat little digital pile of all my unspoken thoughts. The first weird thing happened about a month ago. I was on the phone with my mom, and she said, "Oh, honey, about what you said. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. I was just worried about you." I froze. What are you talking about?" She sounded confused. "You know, your message. About feeling pressured to have your life all figured out." It was a little intense, but I hear you. My blood ran cold. I had recorded a message like that, a really emotional one, where I confessed how lost I felt. But I never sent it. I checked my phone right then and there. It was in my saved folder, clear as day. Not sent. "Mom, when did I send you that?" She said, "Last Tuesday, around 3 a.m. It came through as a voicemail." I tried to laugh it off. A glitch, maybe? A pocket dial that somehow sent a saved draft? It sounded ridiculous, but it was the only explanation I had. I became more careful after that. I double-checked, triple-checked that every message was only saved. But then it happened again. My best friend Mark texted me out of the blue. "Dude, saw your missed call from last night. Didn't get a voicemail, but hope everything's okay. You sounded really down." I hadn't called him, but I had recorded a message for him, venting about a terrible day at work. I looked at my call log. Nothing. No outgoing call to Mark. But there in my saved voicemails was the recording, time-stamped from the night before. This is when the real fear started to creep in. It wasn't just a glitch anymore. It was like my phone had a mind of its own, a malicious one. It was taking my most private, vulnerable thoughts and broadcasting them. But how? There was no record of it. My sent folder was empty, my call log was clean. It was my word against reality, it seemed. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. Was I sending these in my sleep? Was I having some sort of psychotic break where I'd send them and then completely forget? I stopped recording messages altogether. The risk was too great. The silence was deafening. All those thoughts I used to neatly file away were now just rattling around in my head, louder than ever. I felt a constant low-grade panic. Who would be next? What had I said? I scrolled through my old saved messages, my stomach twisting with dread. There was one from my landlord, complaining about the leaky faucet he'd ignored for weeks. One for a former professor, admitting I'd cheated on a final paper years ago. My secrets weren't safe anymore. They were just pending. The final straw came last night. I got an email from my boss. The subject line was just, "We need to talk." My heart hammered against my ribs. He wanted to see me first thing in the morning. I frantically searched my mind and my phone for what it could be, and then I saw it. A saved voicemail, right at the top of the list. It was for him. It was a long, rambling message I'd recorded a week ago, after a particularly brutal team meeting. I had talked about how incompetent I thought he was, how I was looking for a new job, how I felt unappreciated and undermined. I never sent it. I would never send it. I couldn't sleep. I just sat there, staring at my phone, this little black rectangle that had become a vessel for my own personal horror story. It felt like an informant, a traitor living in my pocket. Who was I talking to when I recorded those messages? Was it just myself? Or was something else listening, waiting to use my own words against me? This morning, I walked into work, my resignation letter in my bag, ready for the worst. My boss called me into his office. He looked grim. "I got a strange voicemail from you over the weekend," he started. It was mostly static, but I could hear your voice. You sounded distressed. Is everything all right? I stared at him, completely baffled. Distressed? Static? That wasn't the message I recorded. I pulled out my phone to show him, to try and explain this insanity. I opened the voicemail app. All my saved messages were gone. The folder was empty. Every single one vanished. But my call log was a different story. It was filled with dozens of outgoing calls I never made. Calls to my mom, my sister, Mark, my boss. All time-stamped at the exact moments I had recorded those secret messages. They weren't saved drafts. They were phone calls. Every single time I thought I was confiding in my digital diary, I was actually just talking live to a person who never picked up, leaving a voicemail of my deepest secrets on the other end. All this time, I wasn't documenting my thoughts. I was confessing them. And the most terrifying part is, I have no idea what they actually heard.